Premiership Rugby, round, what was it, 13? Goodness me, some interesting results this weekend. Leicester lose for the first time. Bath win for the first time this season. Harlequins and Exeter, 2-point thriller. Gloucester and Saracens, 1 point. Pretty crazy stuff. I've seen 3 of the games. The others I've kind of all caught up on the highlights and some stats. So, yeah, we'll go through them. You guys can let me know which ones you watched, which players kind of stood out, key moments and whatnot. And, yeah, we'll get into it. The first one, Bristol over SAL, 32-15. SAL maybe burned a wee bit by a couple of tries, getting chalked off. I'm not saying the tries were wrongly chalked off, but it's just one of those ones where if you get those two, the scoreline certainly looks a lot healthier than it does at 32-15, which seems pretty comfortable for Bristol. I guess it's a result which has kind of been coming for Bristol because despite the fact they lost their last couple, they've seemingly been tracking fairly well. And they finally get a result to show for it. I mean, SAL got on the board first through Ashman, and they kind of traded tries, although Tom Curry got yellow carded for SAL conceding too many penalties. It was a pretty early yellow card, and Bristol caused some pain with the 2 tries. Capon and Morahan both got one at the start, one at the end of the yellow card. So, yeah, they really punished with that extra man. But, I mean, SAL got one from turnover ball through Rob Duprea, who was playing in the midfield. So, yeah, it was like 12 points apiece. But apart from one penalty, that's the end of the scoring for SAL. The rest of it is through Bristol. But as I said, they did have a couple of chalked off tries. I mean, the other one was Morahan on 32 minutes, and then Andy Uren got one at the end, which is a bonus point one, which is actually pretty important, I guess, in the scheme of things. But, I mean, Bristol at one point missed like a 5-metre line-out chance. They kind of could have been a bit more clinical, could have had that bonus point a bit early. And as I said, SAL, I mean, there was one that was a knock-on with like an aerial ball. You don't see the knock-on until you really slow it down. And then the other one was Ben Curry with kind of a fingertip knock-on. So, yeah, kind of unlucky for the SAL guys, but sometimes that's just the way it goes. So, yeah, good win for Bristol. What else can you say? They're kind of much needed, as I said. And, yeah, they've been seemingly been able to turn things around a little bit. We'll see if that's able to continue. Yohan Lloyd, I thought, was really looking good. He set up the last try with a real wicked kind of couple of steps. So his stats kind of prove he had a good game as well because he looked good just watching the thing. I mean, possession 45-55 to SAL, but territory 51-49, so kind of even. Run meters are pretty even, both in the 400s. Bristol had to make a lot more tackles, 190 odd to just over 100 for SAL, but turnovers conceded as 20 to SAL, which is a stupidly high number. 13 to Bristol is not exactly low, but it's better than 20. Penalties conceded 10-5 as well with SAL on the wrong side of the ref. Yohan Lloyd, 8 defenders beaten, 83 run meters. Luke Morahan, 96 run meters, 3 clean breaks. So, some of the outside backs kind of showing us what they can do for Bristol, which is kind of what we expected to see more of this season, but haven't really gotten a showing. Dan Duprea had 68 run meters and 3 defenders beaten, which is a pretty solid shift. But yeah, Bristol still down in 11th, now 4 and 8. SAL are in 10th, 4 wins, 7 losses and a draw. So neither side exactly hitting the expectations that the bookies had them kind of pre-season, but there's still a few games to go. So we will see how they are able to push on for the remainder of the season. But I do think that's an important win in the scheme of things for the Bears. And a bit of a disappointing one for SAL because they were also coming off a win, weren't they? So that's one they needed to get done, but that consistency is just not there. Quins and Exeter, I should have watched this one, but I didn't. I chose to watch one of the other games, foolishly, not knowing the results. But yeah, why the hell did I not watch Quins and Exeter? That's a crazy game. 14-12. Not real high scoring, but real high in terms of the intensity to the end. It's like a sideline conversion that decides this one, which is pretty crazy stuff. Harlequins opened the scoring pretty quickly through Northmore, kind of first man to react when Hogg stripped one of the Harlequins guys in the tackle, and then it was Harlequins who recovered the ball, so it wasn't a knock-on. kind of good thinking, 7-0. Exeter took 30 odd minutes to get on the board. When they did so, it was Slade on like 34, so 7 points apiece. And right before half time, there's a red card through Hepburn for kind of cleaning out Joe Marler and dumping him on his head, which I've only seen it replayed once, but it looked pretty bad. And Joe Marler was clearly not a happy chappy after that one, because that is like proper dangerous. Like, you see a lot of red cards and the refs talk about kind of high level of danger and whatnot, and sometimes you look at it and go, yeah, that's the way they're refereeing it, but you don't look at it and legit think that's like really egregious stuff. But that one, yeah, not good. Not a good look. Not a good look. It was Joe Marler's kind of lucky, I guess, that he landed in a way that was not causing any injuries, because I think he played pretty much the whole game otherwise. But yeah, not good stuff. So it means Exeter have to play a half with one man down. It doesn't seem to stop them though, because Harlequins blew pretty much a sure try where Green was on a big break and couldn't find a man to pass the ball to. He ended up chucking it into touch, but it was 14 men Exeter that mauled it over with like 12 guys in the maul to go in front, 12 points to 7, and like Quins were trying crossfield kicks and whatnot, couldn't quite get it to go. Liner knocked one on, but eventually Esterhazen got one about a minute before time. Marcus Smith's got a clutch conversion to take from the corner, and he nails it in off the post. So the drama was pretty real with that one. 14 points to 12. Crazy stuff. Really wish I'd watched that one. Quins had less possession but more territory. Their goal kicking was 100%. Exeter's was 50. So there you go. That's the difference maker. Clean breaks 5-1. Defenders beaten 16-5 in Quins' favour. So they probably should have had this one wrapped up beforehand, but they did blow a few chances. Turnovers conceded 17-11. So Quins a bit guilty of turning over the ball. Penalties conceded 10-5. So that's Exeter with the 10 on the wrong side of the referee's whistle. But overall, it's a pretty low penalty count, to be fair. Interestingly, guys like Tyrone Green and Jack Knoll have been ever present for both their sides this year. Seemingly kept pretty quiet. Neither has a defender beaten or a clean break, which is unusual, as they've both been in cracking form. But Marchant, 49 run meters, 3 defenders beaten. Sam Simmons has 11 tackles from 11 and 45 run meters. So, yeah, losing bonus point for Exeter, given they had a man down for half the game, is maybe not too bad, but they would have liked to hold on. Quins, as I said, probably could have wrapped it up a bit earlier from what I've seen. But there you go. Quins are third, 8-4 is their record. Exeter are 6th. 7-5 is theirs. The next one, the Falcons and Northampton. This one I did choose to watch. Why? I think it's because I thought I haven't watched Newcastle for a while. They've kind of been in bad form. Let's see what's going on. And in the scheme of things, it was maybe not one of the better ones to watch in terms of drama or edge of your seat action. I mean, Northampton scored a ton of points, which is pleasing. Some of them were pretty kind of easy on the eye, but yeah, there wasn't a heck of a lot of drama in this one, which is, you know, if you're going to watch a game, you like to, especially if you're a neutral, you want to watch it go down to the wire. Not this one, but to be fair, Newcastle did start the better of the two sides. Excuse me, one of the neighbours decided to mow the lawns. It's a pretty nice day outside. I wouldn't be mowing the lawns at, 2 o'clock in the afternoon in peak sunlight personally, but there you go. Yeah, they went for the maul. Bit of ruthlessness, but they couldn't score. But at least they kind of had the right idea, I thought. You know, if you're at home, you want to put down a marker. Eventually, they did switch and went for a 3. So they had a 3-0 lead early. But Northampton got their first one through Collins, kind of against the run of play. I think they almost turnover ball. And from there, they really started to fire. They got a penalty, made it 10-3. There was a bit of handbags. And then later on, 2 of the guys, one from each side, get yellow carded because the ref's like, I'm not having this handbag stuff. If you guys want to keep doing it, I'll keep yellow carding you. But yeah, Scorson got one. Matavesi had the nice step and line break to set that one up. 17-3. It was 20-3 at half time. Newcastle really hadn't taken any of their chances. Who is mowing that lawn? Maybe I ought to shut the door. Hold on a second. Alright, not sure that'll help much, but there you go. What were we saying? Newcastle, yeah, they hadn't taken any chances really in the first half, so it was 23... Was it 23-3? No, 20-3 at halftime. Northampton definitely the more clinical of the two sides. Biggest lots of drop goal. I thought, thank goodness they got the one through McGuigan on 54 minutes. Newcastle, because the crowd got into it. The scoreboard, they missed the conversion, so it's still like a 3-point lead, a 3-score lead, but at least it was game on, and then immediately BATvWOR got his try. Furbank had a cracking game, he got one as well, and then James got one at the death, so that was a bit of a salt in the wound one, pretty much from their own half. So yeah, 40 points for Northampton. Newcastle ended up looking pretty bad, to be fair, 44 points to 8. I mean, tackling percentage, they missed 31 tackles. Tackling percentage was 78, which, as I said, as previous videos, is pretty bad. Northampton were at 88, they missed 19, so a wee bit more solid on D. Penalties conceded as 13-14, so Newcastle conceding one fewer, but that's a kind of higher count than we've seen in some of the other games. Furbank beat 7 defenders and runs 77 run meters, so cracking shift from him. Mike Brown beats a few of his own, but in a bit of a losing effort this one. They had the similar amount of runs, these two teams. Like Newcastle run at 101 times, Northampton 103, but run meters is 275 to 432. It just kind of shows the effectiveness of what Northampton were throwing at them. So yeah, very solid win. Northampton are 5th, 7-5. There's their record, and Newcastle are 9th, 5-6-1. But their losing run is becoming a bit of a trend at the moment. They need a win to kind of snap themselves out of it. The next one was Saracens and Gloucester. Another one I kind of regret not watching. Yes, cracking game. A bunch of tries and an away win for Gloucester, which is not an easy thing to do, but their maul is a force to be reckoned with. They get the first one through Balmain on 15 minutes. Gloucester did get a yellow card through Carreras for a deliberate knock-on. Sarries immediately punished it, and then Gloucester got a second yellow card. So it was 15 on 13, and Saracens punished them again. So they got their first one through Morris, the second one through Shagan. Yeah, they're looking at a 14-5 lead there with still an extra man. But as soon as Carreras comes back on, he taps the ball down from the restart, and that leads to the next Northampton try through Singleton. It's Geordie Reid who's got a big crack and run. He was like the Hulk, swatting people aside. And then, yeah, he gave the ball to Singleton for that try. So that was kind of a good reply, especially when you've got one man down and immediately from the restart. So good stuff, 14-12. Saracens had a yellow card, but Gloucester weren't able to score from it. So 14-12 it was at half-time. Penalty put Gloucester in front, 15-14, but not for long, because there was a charge down. Saracens got another try through McFarland on 53. Yeah, Gloucester's maul again goes to work. They get another one, plus a penalty, makes it 25-19. Sarries do get one through Lewington at the corner at the death, but the missed conversion means Gloucester are able to stay in front just ever so barely. But yeah, really wish I'd watched that one, because that also, like Quins and Exeter, seems like it was a real nail-biter. And a good win for the away team this time. Possession's pretty even. There's more territory to Gloucester, interestingly. A lot of kicks from hand. Every series game does have a lot of kicks from hand. 43-49 is the kicks from hand total. So some games it's like 20 apiece. So for one side to have 43 and the other to have 49, that's a fair bit of kicking. Mauls 8-10, so Gloucester love a wee maul, don't they? We saw a fair bit of that as well. But from the highlights anyway, it seemed pretty entertaining. Not that kicking and mauls essentially makes it a boring game. It can be pretty entertaining stuff. Maybe more so than a 44-8 result. Anyway, penalties conceded 14-11. So Sarries a little bit guilty there. But both sides tackled really well. 91% for Sarries, 88% for Gloucester. Made a similar amount. Shagan beats 4 defenders. Singleton beats 5. Interestingly, most run meters this game was Ackerman with 65. So it's unusual. It's kind of a low, highest run count. It's usually an outside back, usually a fullback, but it's one of your loosies in this one. Burnell makes 21 out of 22 tackles, so solid shift from him in a losing effort. But yeah, pretty close one. Sarries guilty of missing a few kicks, to be fair. I think one of them was for Lazowski was kind of a straightforward one, but not to be, and there you go. That's sometimes how you pay for it. Saracens are 8 wins, 3 losses, and a draw. In second still, Gloucester are into the top 4, 7. Were they in the top 4 before? Anyway, 7 wins, 4 losses, and a draw. So fourth is looking pretty good. That's a real statement result. I felt like last week they needed to get that result and let it go. But this week they managed to get it done. So congratulations to them. The next one, Bath and Worcester. Again, I didn't watch this one. I watched Wasps and Leicester. I didn't watch Bath and Worcester. They finally get a win against the team who's like second from bottom, who play 90% of the match with a man down. But they still get it done just barely. Seems like they made pretty hard work of it from what I've seen. Sutherland gets red carded really early for a head-on-head clash, upright tackle. He gets red carded. That's first 10 minutes of the game. So it's not a great start for Worcester. And Bath got their first try through Rokoduguni not long after the red card. So a good lead, but it was one of those ones where you just get the hit back, right? Rokoduguni got one, Shilcock got one only a couple of minutes later. So 7-5. Jomo got one. It was pretty lucky. The Worcester guys were like, he's not in control of it. The ref said it doesn't matter because they kicked it through. He just kind of ends up falling on it enough that he's got his body touching the ball down over the end goal. So, yeah, pretty lucky one. They'll admit that, but it's a try, and it's given. So, 14-5, and then Worcester not going away. They get one in reply on 33 minutes. So, yeah, 14-12, and then they even go in front before halftime. Some great hands to set up, Simpson's try? Yeah, pretty cracking stuff. 19-14 at halftime. Bath end up getting a yellow card, so it's 14-14. Collapsing them all that one, but then Worcester don't score from it, which is a bit disappointing. And then Bath end up evening things up to make it 19 points apiece, and then they go back in front with the penalty to make it 22-19. End of the game, it looks a bit more like relief rather than celebration to beat the team one above you who played the majority of the game with a man down. I mean, it's a win, but these guys didn't look that chuffed about it. Like, you compare that to like the Gloucester guys celebrating the win over Saracens, it was kind of night and day stuff. So yeah, we'll kind of have to see what's the deal with Bath. I know they got a new coach next year, so they're probably just trying to see out the season, I guess. They have more possession, 56%, more territory, 61%. They have more knock-ons as well, but they have double the clean breaks, 10-5. Penalties considered is pretty close, 14-15. The more defenders beaten, 21-17, but there's not that many more. Rokoduguni gets 4 defenders beaten, 3 clean breaks, 78 run meters. The lock BATvWOR gets 13 tackles along with his try. So, yeah, good shift from Worcester to be able to get as close as they did. I mean, if they'd kept 15 guys on the field the whole game, would they have won? Maybe. But they'll be pretty disappointed to be the first team to lose to Bath, that's for sure. So, yeah, anyway, congratulations, Bath fans. You get a win at last. And the last game, Leicester drop one at last. There is no cat out of the bag this time. They've had so many games where they've managed to kind of conjure up a bonus point or a late win. Not this time. Not this time. To be fair, like the first try of the game, there's only 2 tries. It's a penalty try to Wasps. It's a bit of a lucky one. Because, I mean, it's a good presence of mind from Brad Shields. There's a fly flying around here. It's a good presence of mind from Brad Shields because the Wasp guys kick it to clear it, and one of the Leicester guys gets a finger to it without really charging it down. So the kick just goes straight to Brad Shields, who's aware enough to know he's not offside. So then he runs at it, sets up a cracking opportunity for Wasps, and they end up getting a penalty try because there's a tackle without the ball, which kind of shuts the play down. The commentary team were a little bit divided as to whether it would have been a try. I think probably it's one where you can give a penalty try for sure because there was a chance there that he could have passed it to an open man if he doesn't get tackled. So there you go. So 7 points to 0. But I mean, Leicester with the man down, they kicked 2 penalties. They could have got almost a try through Potter, but they ruled that Stewart had done a wee bit of obstruction, and that one I looked at and thought, yep, he's taken out a man enough. It's one you shouldn't be doing. So 7 points to 6 and 6 points to 0 during the yellow card. So Leicester doing all right, and even a chance to take the lead, but George Ford misses a couple of penalties in a row. One's like 40 metres out, relatively straight. He misses it. The next one he hits the post. So given that scoreline, pretty unfortunate misses for him. Wasps finally did manage to put a bit of pressure on the Leicester guys. They put like 12 phases on and Leicester's 22, but conceded a breakdown penalty. Interestingly, Leicester, before half-time, opted for touch after missing those couple of penalties, and they got the pay, man. Montoya went over for a maul try. So it was 13 points to 7, and it's a bit disappointing that Gensch, like as much as I love Alice Gensch, he was a bit too fiery in this game. And you could see he was going to get himself into trouble, and he did. He put a little push on Francois Roucard's face. He reckons he was slapped like behind the head in the build-up to it, but it's one of those ones where you just can't react, man. You just can't react as much as you want to. You just tell the ref, I guess, and then if the TMO has a look at the pre-push stuff, then that's good. But, I mean, you've seen some of the greatest captains get funny things done to them, and then they don't react, they don't get themselves into trouble, because that's what people are looking to do. So he got yellow carded, but it didn't really cost them anything. Wasps, though, they really did up the tempo in the second half. They got some penalties, of course, and they managed to go in front on like 68 minutes, made it 16-13. Leicester, though, with their scrum, were looking pretty deadly. They won some scrum penalties. Youngs is maybe a little bit aggrieved that he was denied a quick tap try because the ref said he didn't take it from the mark. But where he pointed to and where they replayed it, it seemed like it was pretty bloody close to the mark. But anyway, it's just one of those ones. Somehow Wasps' defence managed to hold. They won a penalty with about 4 minutes to play. And they almost had one where Brad Shields got some turnover ball at the last minute, but they went back for a knock-on anyway. So, crazy win for Wasps. Like I said, Leicester, if they kick a couple of those penalties, or if they give that Youngs try, or if they don't give the Wasps penalty try, maybe they could have won it, but not to be. You've got to give Wasps that win. Sometimes you just don't get those ones. So possessions, 50-50. Territory is 45-55. Again, a fair few kicks from hand, 41-40. So similar to the kind of Saracens and Gloucester game. Goal kicking, 75% for Wasps, 60% for Leicester. So both sides left a few points out there. Defenders beaten 22-30. Leicester got a few more. Clean breaks 5-2. Wasps had a few more. So yeah, just one of those games. Could have gone either way, but Wasps, given the run they've been on, given their injuries, you've got to be pretty pleased for them. I think most people would like to see Leicester drop a game or two to kind of even up the table, but they're still sitting pretty at the top. BRIvSAL, 6 defenders beaten, 68 run meters. Shields, 61 run meters, 2 clean breaks. So the Wasp loose, he's having a real good time. Stewart, 95 run meters, 5 defenders beaten. Montoya, 23 out of 24 tackles. That guy continues to impress. Should have been World Hooker of the Year for mine, but not to be. He's still playing pretty well. Wasps are 8th, 5-7. And Leicester are still first, 11 and now 1. So yeah, those were the games. I ended up watching 3. Probably didn't watch the optimal ones. If I could have gone back in time to tell myself which ones to watch, it probably would have been Quins and Exeter, Saracens and Gloucester, and then probably still Wasps and Leicester. Bath and Worcester would have been a nice one to see in full. Newcastle and Northampton was fine. It just wasn't close, and I like close games. So, I mean, good on Northampton because they've been a little bit inconsistent, so good to see them get a result. And likewise, Bristol wasn't close. It was nice to see that the Sale guys could have had a better result if they'd kind of had those chances go their way, but not to be. So, yeah, that's just the way it went. You guys let me know your thoughts. Goodness me, 24 minutes. Better go. Take care of yourselves, and yeah, I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.